So here is Amanda Turkle. Let's talk about Russiagate for a second, shall we? Do you know who Amanda Turkle is? She's a very well known at the Huffington Post, right? So she's a reporter for the Huffington Post, and she was at a conference for international journalists, and she says deep skepticism among the Russian journalists, independent, liberal, not state media, that Russian forces significantly influenced the U.S. election. A lot of disillusion about how U.S. media have covered the issue, too. Really interesting. Really interesting. If by really interesting you mean, isn't it amazing how upside down and fucking backwards America is getting this Russiagate thing? I mean by really interesting. Isn't it amazing how propaganda works and everybody's pushing a bullshit fucking narrative? I mean by really interesting, you know what's really interesting? How none of my friends are gonna fucking repeat this. That's what's really interesting. How everybody at MSNBC is gonna ignore that I just fucking said this. Because that's really fucking interesting to me. Now you're a real journalist. You're not a nightclub jagoff like me, Abby. What does that say to you? That she's not nobody. She's well known, and she comes back from an international conference of journalists, and they all say we're fucking crazy and doing bullshit.
Well, yeah, leftists and progressives in Russia will tell you that this has only emboldened Putin. That's why he won with 81% of the vote in the last election. He's stronger than ever before because we're creating him as this mastermind villain that's controlling the largest empire in the world, and they have a minuscule amount of our power.
Yes, and what they're doing is they're inflating Putin's power, right?
Absolutely.
Artificially. Yeah. So they're propping him up, and it's the exact. And we've been saying, how is it that I know this?
Really interesting.
How do I know this and Jake fucking Tapper doesn't know this? How do I know this, right? And everybody at PBS doesn't. Of course they fucking know it, and they're chosen not to know it. That's why they're chosen, right? Brian Williams, never went to fucking college. Brian Williams and all those motherfuckers are chosen, right? That's why guys like Ed Schultz get fired, because they chose wrong. They get it right most of the time. They get it wrong with Phil Donahue. They get it wrong with Ed Schultz, Ashley Banfield, Jesse Ventura. They get it wrong with those people, but they get it right with everybody else. Like Chris, we need a nerd who'll shut up and do the bidding of the fucking military-industrial Chris Hayes, we got him! Fucking got him. We needed a nerd who will do the bidding of the military-industrial complex, and we fucking got him. A guy with zero integrity who's willing to sell out his own fucking country for $30,000 a day. And that's exactly what fucking Chris Hayes is doing. And if he wasn't, he'd be fucking fired. Because you know, if I worked there for 5 minutes, I'd be fucking fired, just like Ed Schultz and Phil Donahue, which is why they never mention those guys' names. Somehow they were able to do an obituary for Ed Schultz and not mention the fact that he fucking just said that they weren't allowed to cover Bernie fucking Sanders at the network. They somehow...
30 grand?
30 grand a day.
I just want to throw out there at MSNBC that I'm around and I'm available for work and stuff. No,
yeah, but
I have no morals.
Here's what I don't get. For even the people who believe in this wholeheartedly, you have to weigh the story with other real stories, right? And you have to know that this is really minuscule.
No, they're the Fox. They're the Fox News. They're Fox News of the left.
These assholes?
Yeah, they're out of their fucking minds. Their brains broke.
Yeah.
We watched all their brains snap in half, and now they're just running around out of their fucking minds. And you're like, what? Take it easy. Why don't you work on gerrymandering, or what about all the tent cities popping up on the border? Why don't you worry about that? Okay, all right, no, that's cool. You seem normal.
Hey, I don't know if you know, climate change is about to wipe us out in about 25 years. Maybe you talk about that. Putin buddy! Thanks for watching. Please make sure you're subscribed. Even if you think you are, you're probably not. It only takes a second to check, and then you have to ring that bell so they send you a notification when we drop a new video. Otherwise, they won't tell you when we drop new videos. And if you like our show, please help support it. Become a patron. We give you hours of bonus material every week, and we give a live stream. We do a live stream every Saturday at 2 p.m. Pacific time when you could ask us questions and we answer them back. Thanks for your support.